Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Follow Everton. I've got Mabsy coming in. Mabsy, how are you, Mabsy?
Yeah, all good. Thanks yourself, Ray.
Good, yeah, not too bad. We're here to talk about transfers.
Yeah.
And yesterday, obviously, it broke around lunchtime that Tottenham Hotspur wanted some sort of package deal. I don't know who. I don't think they come to the right place. I think they're looking for Tui. But they're looking for some package deal for Richarlison and Anthony Gordon.
I
Are they?
personally, I think it's bullshit, mate. Um, I think it's a smoke screen to get Richarlison at the club. I think what it is people be, oh, take Richarlison, keep Anthony Gordon, blah 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 blah, and it's a smoke screen.
Look, you're talking about Everton have got a lot of players for sale. Let's be honest. You could pick 10 at least that I think the club would be really happy to get rid of. And Richarlison and Anthony Gordon would certainly not be on that list. And I think it just adds insult to injury that there's even talk of Anthony Gordon going. And we're not talking about an elite footballer here, but we're talking about a player with potential to be one. And that's the sort of player that Everton need to be signing. So the last thing you want to do is to be
I don't
entertaining
think
any sort of.
I think when we saw him at Brentford, he bleeds Everton.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember when we saw him the way he was that cheeky little smile when I said to him, "Tell him to play Dot." Was it play Dot?
Rondon.
Yeah. Instead of
don't play Rondon. Sorry, don't play Rondon. Yeah.
No, don't play Rondon. I said, "Tell him to play Dobbin," and he just smiled like that cheeky smile. Remember?
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He signed my shirt.
Yeah, exactly, boss guy. Absolutely, he bleeds blue. I think it's probably now some fucking smoke screen for Richarlison to be exiting. And
I also think, Mabsy, he's on to a good thing here, even though we are struggling, but it's probably less pressure, without a big money move. He's guaranteed pretty much some football here to develop and grow in a safe space. And maybe if Everton continue to stagnate, for year after year, which I really hope not, and Spurs develop and grow, and then maybe in 2, 3, 4 seasons, that is the time for him to be moving, and it probably won't be to Tottenham. But the reality is, he's probably not ready for that step up anyway to the Champions League, and he would just be a squad player at Spurs. And I think he could be. I don't think he'd develop as well without the football. You've got to play games.
Absolutely, he's not guaranteed a game at Spurs, and it's just what again, he's probably thinking. It's just a weird. It was a strange one when I heard it. Yes, and I was speaking to human mates, and one of the mates said it's probably just a smoke screen, and I tend to agree. I don't think Everton would sell him personally, anyway.
Is there some arrogance there?
Stupid enough to sell him.
Do you think there's some arrogance from Tottenham? Because I've been told
of course there is.
They were willing to loan him back for next season as well as part of the deal.
Are you messing?
To me, that really stinks. It really does.
So basically, what they're saying is that we'll develop him free of charge for Tottenham, basically. So that's what they're saying, isn't it?
Well, they've offered Lucas Moura, who'll be 30 in August. They've also offered Harry Winks. I don't understand the whole Harry Winks thing. There's a lot of people defending him. I think he's garbage. I think he's absolutely not what we need. I think we need someone with a bit of physicality, bit of pace, bit of speed, technically good, can pass, can tackle. I mean, they don't have to be the same player doing all of that. It could be a couple of players. But Harry Winks, he's a decent player in terms of the ball at his feet passing, but it's another sort of sideways, backwards sort of player without any physicality to him.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit. It's
not
a bit.
Interested in.
I was shocked. You look at. I think people comparing us. What's his face? Andre Gomez, and his actually stats are even worse than Andre Gomez, isn't it? Like 20 more games.
Yeah.
And like the same amount of goals and stuff like that. So
it's insanity, isn't it? To be looking at players.
One, but you've just got to hope that Farewell and Frank are making these decisions and seeing something in them. You'd hope, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm sitting here thinking I'd hope that those two wouldn't be stupid enough to sign a player like that. And I think we did make a mistake with Dele Alli because I think that's going to bite us in the arse. We're going to end up shelling out a load of money for him, and I don't think he's going to turn his career around. I know that just could be negative, Ryan. But they're going to factor.
10 million really isn't like the end of the world.
We're skint though, and he's on over 100k a week. I want a lot more from him next season. They've already had it looked like a good deal, but he has to do well. If he doesn't do well, we've got the ways. But look, Daniel Levy, no doubt, has got that in the back of his mind. He's had that deal in. He'll be saying, "Well, I'll write the Dele Alli deal off if you give us Richarlison or something like that. I'll write the you can have Harry Winks and Lucas Moura."
Do you think though that there's something how the Dele Alli came out the blue a bit? To be fair, you look at that deal and that way that it was structured. It was structured weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic deal for Everton. But what does Spurs get out of it? And they're getting Dele Alli off the books. But
Dele Alli was completely unwanted.
Still a weird one, a free transfer.
No, Mabsy.
Initially,
he was really struggling.
Games. What?
He was really, really struggling at Spurs. He was absolutely finished at Spurs. Levy wanted him off the books. He was on 150,000 a week. Wasn't doing an awful lot. And they've got a good deal to just get him to save his wages and potentially make money on appearances for us. And he'll hit that next season and we'll owe Spurs money. And they'll probably be factoring that in to any deal for Richarlison or Gordon. And they're trying to pie off their rejects. And they want to steal two of our best players. And I've got Dan, who's part of the show, part of the channel. Dan, hi, Dan. Even the most positive member of our show, Dan, you must be absolutely livid and because you thought the pain had ended when the season finished and we could all have a bit of a break.
Right.
But it's been non-stop, hasn't it? Richarlison this, Richarlison that. Now it's Anthony Gordon. And in the midst of it all has been linked with really poor players, to be honest. And I know you've been sticking up for Harry Winks on Twitter. I'm gonna probe you on that, but let's focus on Richarlison and Gordon for now. You must be pretty broken to see the links, really.
Yeah, well, Gordon, for me, I just think it's a load of lies, to be fair. I think they've just put it in there to put something else in there. I don't know how
he describes it as a smoke screen.
So do you reckon it's a smoke screen, like I've said, to basically deprive Richarlison at the club? Because then people will say, oh, well, at least we kept Gordon.
All right, that's better. Here we go. We're ready. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure what to think about it. I've only just read it, so it's a bit like it's got to be bullcrap, hasn't it? I've just put, if it was going to happen, 150 million for them both.
Or 50 million plus Harry Kane.
I wouldn't want Harry Kane. I'd rather have the 150 million.
Listen to this tweet from Twitter before that I read. This was quite funny. This was someone called Gabby Goldblatt. She's put on here, it's got like 568 likes. Just reading it now. Everton are putting together a special package deal for Harry Kane and Son. It includes a signed Fabian Delph print, a mouldy banana, 3 chocolate coins, and a copy of Blood Brothers on DVD.
Very funny.
It's good that. The reality is, though, Spurs are taking the piss, aren't they, if they think they can get him? And I would agree. I think it's a seller's market still, but the fees aren't quite what they were 12 months ago. I mean, you would argue 12 months ago that we were getting 80 to 100 million for Richarlison. You know, if you look at the stats of Jack Grealish.
I would take 80 million for him, absolute bare minimum. At the end of the day, we bought him at 50. For it to sell him at 50 is disgusting. So that's basically saying we haven't developed them. He's now Brazilian international for a start.
They'll say we bought him based on his potential. He's reached that potential, and therefore
he's worth more than that, though.
Well, I agree.
And as well, we've got to pay Watford the fucking. Again, I don't know how we fucked that deal up to give Watford 10% after we gave.
Well, the market was bonkers, Mabsy. The market was insane. You had to pay big money. But there's no point selling Richarlison. The only reason we are selling Richarlison is because he wants to go and play Champions League football. That's the only reason.
We don't even know. We don't even know that.
What?
I was just going to say, we don't even know that he's still got in his head that he wants to go because of Champions League. He might have calmed down on that.
I just hope he stays. I kind of do hope he stays, but I'm resigned to him. I think we've lost him. But again, this Gordon thing. I don't think it's a non-starter. I do think it's just to prize him out of Everton. prior to Richarlison out of Everton, honestly.
Dan, if you did get...
you know what? The thing is, right, let's go into this with detail now because this is big news, right? I thought with Richarlison, I'm scared. I am scared because, like you've just said, Ryan, he does want Champions League football. We all know that. So I'm a little bit nervous because if he does want that, you think he could leave. With Anthony Gordon, I'm not even scared about this news because I know he wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
He generally wouldn't leave.
I don't think he's ready. We said we don't think he's ready to go anyway.
I'm not scared of that part. But Richarlison, yes. So that news to me, that's why I said fake. It probably isn't fake. They probably are interested because... But it's good, though, because I'm not surprised they are interested in Gordon because he had a good season last season. Even, I think, can you remember, Ryan, they were saying Pep Guardiola, he was looking at Anthony Gordon as well. So I think they all will. A lot of interest.
I think the minute Gordon starts hitting double figures for goals and assists, I think he will really attract Man City, United. I think they'll all be swarming if we're still in this position because, we are in a fundamentally bad position. We are in a bit of a mess. I don't know what the FFP situation is, but apparently we haven't got a pot to piss in. We've been trying to look at free transfers. Eriksen, a 2-year contract was offered, so he's assessing that. Apparently we were offered Lingard as well. Obviously Tarkowski signed. He can't be announced till 1st of July for legal reasons. But we have got this financial issue, but I don't think selling Richarlison solves that really. I mean,
so
it's 45 million.
Eriksen thing.
Yeah.
Eriksen is not considered a contract from Everton. Eriksen is either going to Brentford or United. Unfortunately, he's not. He's all like Everton, I think. I don't know where that's come from because it is quite literally, it's either Brentford or United.
No, I don't.
Eriksen. So Eriksen's a non-starter.
I think Eriksen, we've got a chance. We are in the hat. I don't think he's going to go to Man United because it's just a bit of a headache. It's a bit of a circus there at the minute. There's a lot of stress there, and he doesn't want the stress. I don't think he's going to get. He might go back to Brentford, but I don't think he will because they could go down next season.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but then he could, but he could just think, well, you know what? Actually, they're the ones who've revived my career.
Yeah, but he's coming into the twilight, and he's in his prime, and then he'll be going in the twilight. I think he's the perfect replacement for Gylfi Sigurdsson if we want to replay 4-3-3. I think he'll dictate the game. I can see that. Listen, we've got. I just want to. Just before we talk about other targets, we'll come and talk about Eriksen. We'll also talk about Conor Gallagher and the other news and Colwill and some of the other things. Just before we move on from Richarlison, though, what sort of figure would you take? Because I look at this and I think there is no point selling him. It's going to upset a lot of people. But at the same time, if we can't supplement his quality with players of a similar ilk around him, even if that's not this season, but leading into the new stadium, then if he wants to go, I don't know whether we can stand in his way. But there has to be 80 million, Mabsy. But he's not. This is the thing. This is my concern with him. Yes, he's talismanic, Dan. But he's not an out-and-out winger that beats people, whips good balls in and gets assist after assist. And he's not an out-and-out number 9 that like maybe like a Gabriel Jesus is going to Arsenal. I think he'll score 20 goals next season because he's a tapping merchant and he'll feed off being a focal point. I'm not quite sure what his best position is. As much as I absolutely love him and do not want to sell him, I don't know whether he can command that. Maybe he can command that because he is sort of a versatile player where you'll get double figures.
Yeah, but
so is Firmino and Jesus and Rafinha. You know, it's not a vintage Brazil team, but yeah, I get your point.
I was just going to say though, Ryan, do you think that all these questions on you're not sure about Richarlison, what he is because we were so poor in midfield last season? Because our creativity last season and midfield was the worst it's ever been for me. And you were saying it loads last season. I was saying it. And Richarlison, he doesn't know when he's going to get the ball. Like if you continuously get in service, you're going to know what you're going to get and you can start making movements and you'll click and you'll have a better performance. But because Richarlison didn't have no create, he was better with Rodriguez, wasn't he? When Rodriguez was playing with Richarlison liked it because they was linking up. But because we had no one last season like that, he struggled.
He's very good. He's very good under Ancelotti coming off the left as an inside forward. And when you've got the left back prepared to go on and create that width. And he had James of course, obviously, if you're going back to that, we don't have a left back who's going to bomb on and deliver cross after cross and be that natural attacking threat. At the moment, Michaelenko could develop into that. But Richarlison now, I just think he's probably thinking, I've come here to try and fight for Europe, to try and get into the Champions League. And it's been an absolute circus shit show, manager sacking after sacking, players coming overpaid and being fallen off a cliff, really. You look at Andre Gomez is a prime example of a former Barcelona player, very high levels in Spain, and has not been anywhere near it. And I think Richarlison's probably very frustrated, actually, as much as he loves Everton, because he's not playing with players that are good enough for the club. And I think if we can't supplement the quality, I think we have to say, look, do you want to go? Okay, if someone meets your valuation, you can go. That's the ultimate thing. And he is replaceable in terms of we can get a better winger than him and we can get a better striker than him. Whether we can get a better talisman, a better fan favourite, a better player who can play in the 3 positions if needed, then I'm not so sure.
I mean, but you've got to be realistic. Every player has his price.
Yeah.
Okay, every player has his, as I say, every player has his price. And I think, we hold out for that.
I think you have to. Look at Aston Villa with Jack Grealish. They got 100 million for him.
Exactly.
And they play in the same position, left wing.
Yeah.
But we don't do that, though. That's the thing. We're at the minute, everybody knows we're desperate. Everybody knows that we've got FFP. And this is what scares me, is that we're just going to say yes to anything when we need to be in control. Because, yes, we do need money, but they also need our players really bad. So we are still in control. But
listen, Dan, Spurs have got a lot of money as well. This is a thing. If they want to pay the money, they
are
pay the fucking money.
Though. They are tight.
Let's not stereotype. He's very clever, Daniel Levy.
Clever, yeah.
Very, very clever. And that's why he's successful in business. So's Joe Lewis.
Tight's not a bad thing. I wish we was tight with that 500 million.
Yeah.
We are tight. We never find...
It's not stereotype. It's clever. Every club has to be tight.
We never side. We identify the right players. We identify them. But we never...
Luis
Diaz, Nunez... the list could go on. If you really sat down and looked at this, we've missed out on so many good players that we've been close to or been interested in. We signed the wrong players. And look, because we're not in a strong position, we'll have a chat in 2 years. We'll be in Bramley Moor. We'll be flying because we've got a new stadium on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. It'll be the place to go to. And I just think a lot of the Rafa Benitez appointment was about being steady and getting there in one piece. We've had a very close shave. And I think if we don't invest and sign players, and I mean 2 centre-backs, 2 midfielders and another forward, I think we'll be at the bottom again. I really do think we'll be struggling. And I'm trying to be positive, but we've got nothing about us as a team at the moment. There's not really anything in there that inspires me. And it hurts. If Calvert-Lewin's staying, which I think he will do, I think he can't go to any of the top 6. I think they've all got strikers. He couldn't go across the park. I don't think he's good enough for Man United for where they like a big name. I think they'll go and look at someone like Lewandowski. They've got Ronaldo, of course. Chelsea, I just don't think he's quite that level. I certainly wouldn't be that level coming off the back of last season, potentially after another year. He's in a World Cup year, so I think he'll stay for football. Can we build around him? Can we get back to the basics of providing service to a striker and signing players who are going to be more consistent? But look, we haven't got the money. If someone come in for Anthony Gordon now, Dan, what would you sell him for? Don't say nothing.
I don't want to sell Richarlison or Anthony Gordon.
But I'm Spurs, and I'm saying, what do you want for them?
Well, I've said 150 million. I'm thinking 75 for each. If leagues have put a price tag on Rafinha,
price, to be fair, because at the end, I agree. At the end of the day, you got to pay top dollar for them.
Yeah, Gordon's only 21. He's going to get better. And let's just point this out. The reason that they're going in for Gordon now is because his price is going to go up.
Yeah, it'll be ridiculous.
They think he's going to get better. They know he's going to get better and his price is going to go up, so they're trying to hit him early.
Anthony Gordon will hit double figures next season because I think he will have matured and he'll add the goals and assists to his game.
At the end of the day, we don't need to sell Anthony Gordon. He's on lower wages, you know what I mean? So in a prime position with Anthony Gordon to keep him because he doesn't want to go.
He's a perfect player to keep. Low wages, low age, potential high ceiling, and he's a blue. There's absolutely no. I think in a way it would be more important to keep Anthony Gordon than Richarlison.
But this is
in a way.
Brian. But Ryan, are you not now kind of going along to my theory of what I've just said? That this is all just a smokescreen. They're not even interested in Anthony Gordon. But then the kind of thing, well, fans come. I'd rather keep Gordon than Richarlison. Yeah. So Richarlison goes, and Everton. You know what I mean?
Brian saying
it's very clever if they've done that.
He could. You know what? Daniel Levy's a clever man. We're not talking about a thicko here. You know, and Everton's board's sneaky enough to do it as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? They are sneaky bastards. Let's not beat around the bush.
Okay, so the bottom line is it's 150 million for the two. You don't need to sell Gordon. He's on low wages and he's got a high ceiling. So I agree.
That comment there, we're a selling club. Yeah, we are, but every club's a selling club, sadly, these days. It's a business. And you know what? If players don't want to play for you, then you've got to move them on.
Can I just say, I would like to see the director of football at Everton come out and say what the objectives are for us this summer. Because are we going to go and try and get back into Europe and actually do something? Or are you just going to stagnate and battle relegation? What are we actually trying to do?
You know what I don't get with Everton is why we always, like the... What's the word I'm looking for? We don't do ourselves any favors. We don't do ourselves favors, and we always leave our business to the last minute. I don't get it. Other clubs do a lot.
We've had to wait, haven't we, to see whether we're staying up.
No, but still, you have a list of who you want, surely.
Someone DM'd me yesterday and said that what Everton need to do is if they are going to sell Richarlison, we need to buy the players before we sell him, because if other teams know that we've got the Richarlison money, we're going to get charged full whack.
It's not an awful lot of money. It's not like it's going to help us that much with the FFP. We paid 45 million for him. And if we got 60 or 70, for me, I don't see how that's the deal. I think the Anthony Gordon one, if you got 50 million for him, would help massively. But what's the point? You know, if we're selling because we're going to go, hang on, Mabsy, let me finish. If we're selling people because we need to, because we're skint and we're in trouble, then that's different. If we're selling to reinvest, we're not going to get anything for him.
Or is this because he wants to go? This is the question. Does he want to go? Right. So, you know what? I hate to say it, I think he does.
Yeah.
Do I want to go to Tottenham? No, because I see Tottenham as still as a direct rival. That may sound stupid to some people, but I still think they are a direct rival.
I think Chelsea would be more of an appropriate destination for him.
More accepting he went to Chelsea.
The only reason that I would accept that is because I think Chelsea will pay him silly money. He'll live in London. He'll be in the Champions League. He's got more chance of being in the Champions League. He's going to be part of something there. Fair enough. If he goes to Spurs, as good as they were last season, you know, finishing the top four, I don't think they're going to win anything. I don't think they're going to pay the wages, and I think they're going to find it hard to get into the top four again with Arsenal buying players the way they have been. And maybe this is being a bit presumptuous, but
right, Brian, do you want to take Richarlison into the new stadium?
Absolutely.
We're not going to keep him. You know what?
He's not going to be here.
We've got to accept. I think we have got to accept that he will go.
We do tend to hold on players too long. My concern really is, and this is, I think everyone will share it. It's not even them leaving. It's how crap we are when we have to spend any money. Our transfer market list is like a boy of 6 playing FIFA, clicking on the transfer list, who's available. Oh, we've got, just having a look now. We've got Harry Winks on the 4. Oh, Harry Winks, 20 million. Click. Okay. We've also got... We've meant to sound a bit gormless. We've also got, let's have a look. Oh, we've got Lacazette on a free. He's nearly 31. He'll replace Richarlison. Click. How much wages? 400,000. Okay, click. Who else have you got? Man United. Oh, they've got Anthony Martial. Okay, click. Do you know, it's a bit like who's available? Who do you want rid of?
Yeah.
Are they a name? We'll sign them. I want a strategy. Prove to me this summer that we can buy properly, and I'll trust the sales. I won't mind us getting rid of Richarlison or anyone because I know we'll invest the money properly. We could get 75 million and buy 3 players at 25 each. But look, Liverpool, and I'm sorry to bring it up, have proven that actually when you spend this 60, 70 million mark on a player, you're generally getting a top footballer, 50 to 70 million. And you're better off adding 2 or 3 a year like that than signing 6, 7, 8 players. I'm not saying we've even got 50 million, but we buy too many players, hoping for the best. You've got a cat jigsaw, a dog jigsaw, and a zoo jigsaw, and you're trying to put them all together and make the jigsaw fit, and it doesn't work. You've got to have a plan and do it over time. I think we've tried to do too much. Jack's saying spot on.
It's hard because you've also got to be competing high up in the table to get the players that you need to get as well.
The Everton pay big wages and they are a desirable club to pay for, but I think they'll have a much more of a stance moving into the new stadium. Listen, I do want to speed this conversation over. Speed it on. Sorry, move it on. I want to touch on some of the other players we've been linked with. Obviously, you mentioned nearly said Christian Benteke, Christian Eriksen.
Christian Benteke.
My sources tell me that he is considering a 2-year deal with an option for a third, and that he's not going to go to United. I know you two would be happy with him. Tarkowski's done. That's a 4-year contract, so that'll be announced probably end of this week, maybe Friday, or it might be Monday. I'm not quite sure. We've been linked with. There's 2 names that just aren't going away. Okay, and I'm trying to think a little bit more positively because the Richarlison and Gordon chat is a bit depressing. Conor Gallagher and Billy Gilmour. Now, Billy Gilmour's 5'7". I think he's more. Yeah, he's really good on the ball, but we need some players with a bit of stature in the midfield because we're crap at set pieces, and I think that will help if we get players with a bit more stature. I think being able to pass a ball is a default thing. If you've got good vision and really good technical ability, that's different. I think Christian Eriksen would bring us that. On Conor Gallagher, though, I think I'd be really tempted to sell Richarlison to Chelsea if they offered Conor Gallagher, because I think he's in more of a natural player in terms of he would fit in to a long-term structure of the club in terms of playing as a central midfielder, bringing goals from midfield, which I think is really difficult from central midfield. And we could then have a little bit of extra money and try and bring a natural winger if that's Richarlison, if we're keeping Calvert-Lewin and Calvert-Lewin's the striker for us, then and Richarlison goes, then obviously we'll reinvest in a winger to provide some assists and goals. And I'm wittering on a little bit. The point I'm making is I'd be very tempted to sell Richarlison to Chelsea if they included Conor Gallagher in there, because I think he's a real talented prospect and is only going to get better. What would you say to that, or would you say no but you'd still like Conor Gallagher?
On Billy Gilmour, no, 100% no for me. Too injury prone.
Okay.
Too injury prone, and I just don't. He's not the player that we need. Like you said, we need someone that's going to be there, and he's going to be on the bench more than what he's going to be on the pitch. Conor Gallagher, yes, 100%. But to what you've just said, do I think Chelsea are going to offer us Conor Gallagher in the deal? No, I don't. I don't think it was him.
I think Conor Gallagher is building a house in London. I'm not sure. I think someone told me this. But what I also want to touch on is the fact that Chelsea have just got new owners and they always go for the big names. They always look for the big names. I think they'll make a statement. I don't think Conor Gallagher would. I think he'd be better leaving Chelsea because he would be guaranteed to start for Everton week in, week out, to develop as a player. I don't think he's quite the level to be top Champions League. I think he could be there very soon. What do you think, Mabsy? I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? You can't see him leaving, but
Sorry, what?
Conor Gallagher, Chelsea. You can't really see him going, but at the same time, they like the big name. It could be an opportunity to grab him and supplement.
Hopefully, we can come in with knowing Frankie quite well. So that would be a good. I think that's a positive signing if we can get him.
I think he'd be a marquee signing for us if we could. Yeah.
I was just going to say the only way that you're going to get Gallagher is if Chelsea do want Richarlison and you use that as a them wanting Richarlison and you want Gallagher and you've got to go for it and get Gallagher. But I don't think you'll get much money on top of that.
I think you could get Conor Gallagher for about 35 million plus add-ons. That would be my.
It's worth about 40 million, so you probably get Conor Gallagher swap with about 15 million with Richarlison as a deal.
I think Chelsea would take 35 million, whether we got 35 million or not. But I feel like he would really transform the midfield. And I know that there's been a lot of people talking about Conor Gallagher. I saw Charles Stevenson saying that Everton were interested in him. I'm not so sure on the Billy Gilmore one, but he is a player that Frank Lampard really liked at Chelsea. So it wouldn't surprise me if we were in for him. But I think it all comes down to what we're trying to do as a club. If we're going to play a bit more through midfield, if you want more of a natural wide man, then I think it would be a good way of bringing that across into the team. Yeah. I don't think there's much more to say on that from my perspective, other than that I'd really like to see him at Everton. I think he's an Everton player. I think he's very aggressive. I think he's good technically. He's good on the ball. He makes late runs. He's probably what Frank Lampard thinks Dele Alli could be, but probably won't be. I'd absolutely love to see it happen, and I think it would really lift the fan base if we could get a player of that quality in.
If you do get Gallagher, your future's bright because he's going to last a long time as well. That's it. Then you're done. You're set for going forward because he's young and he's going to get better and he's going to be class. So if you can land on him, he'd be massive for us.
But you know, Chelsea, they'll probably offer us Ross Barkley instead.
Yeah, that's what I do think. It's going to be Ross Barkley or Gilmore. I think those are the two players that they're wanted to offload in the deal.
Comment from Jeff. Hi, Jeff. He's a very prominent He's a very good blue, actually. He's on Twitter all the time. Got a distinctive voice. You'll recognise it if you heard him. We're not selling Gordon.
Driver.
Say again?
Jeff. Is that Jeff Buzz Lightyear, Jeff?
It's Jeff. I only know him as Jeff off Twitter.
Yeah, but it's Buzz Lightyear. Is
that what he goes as?
No, he has his profile as Buzz Lightyear, doesn't he?
Does he?
On Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. That's Jeff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He watches now and again. He's saying, we're not selling Gordon. It'll be too diversive. He's right, isn't he? We can't... You're going to piss a lot of people off, really. And we're already really quite pissed off with last season. The fact that the club signed Rafa Benitez behind our backs went against us. And I just think it would be like one of many nails in the coffin for us, really, as a fan base, to alienate us as much as we can.
Let's have it then, people on the YouTube channel now. Let's have it. Winks. Come on, Ray. Let's go.
Yeah, Winks. Wait for this. Right.
This is you. Ryan is no, and I was no, but now I'm starting to be a little bit yes.
I'm going to convince you why he's a bad signing.
What's that?
I'm going to tell you why he's a bad signing.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm starting to say yes. So we'll have a clash and see what we think at the end of it.
Okay.
Clash off.
It's a battle on. Bear in mind, I've got the controls and I could just... Boop, he's gone. That's him. I'm only messing.
Get rid of me.
I did. I'm just showing the audience what I have the power to do here.
You can't get rid of me, mate.
No, don't get rid of Dan. Come on.
He's part of the furniture. Listen.
I'll be back.
I'm telling you why Harry Winks is a waste of time.
He's not even on the credits yet, Ryan, you know.
I know. I did say I'm going to update that.
No, I'm just getting my notepad out.
He's played. He's playing for Spurs. He's a Spurs fan. He scored 2 goals in 128 games for his boyhood club from midfield. Okay, he's not a defensive midfielder. He can't tackle. He doesn't track runners. He's not tall. He's not going to be good at set pieces. He's not a powerhouse. Okay, and then you look at his stats. He doesn't assist. He doesn't score goals. He's rubbish. He's an England player. That's probably the only thing. If he was Spanish, no one would be taking a blind bit of notice. He is the equivalent of Tom Davies, but worse. I think he would be a rubbish signing. I can see you scratching your head. You've heard the stat, 2 in 128.
No, but the thing is, some of the things that you were saying are true. I can't really argue about some of the things that you're saying. But for me, Spurs, when they signed Holberg, Winks got pushed out. True or false?
Yeah, we tried to sign Holberg.
No, but when Winks did play for England, I did think he was good. And I did think he was good for Spurs. And then Holberg come in and they pushed Winks out. They pushed Harry Winks out. So
he's good at short, simple passes, but
we need that.
I can do that.
None of our midfield can.
A short, simple sideways pass is literally what anyone can do.
We backwards pass. If we can go to sideways, that's progression.
He's not a player that's going to split open a defence with a pass like a James or a Christian Eriksen. He's a neat and tidy footballer with very limited attributes. He is slow. He is not strong. He is not good at set pieces. He can't tackle. He can't run. What can he do?
Harry Winks can put a teabag in a cup from about 2 meters away.
Mazel tov.
Did you not see it? Have you not seen the video?
I've seen the video. I don't care.
Come on, mate.
I don't
that
care.
Video was real.
This is real football, though.
If Harry Winks can put a teabag in the cup from 2 meters away, then are you telling me that he can't put the ball on Calvert-Lewin's head?
Dan, have you seen YouTube footballers that are scoring goals past Ben Foster? If you watch the YouTube channels, there's footballers on there with millions of subscribers. They do freestyle stuff and they look brilliant. They wouldn't last 2 minutes in proper football. It doesn't matter whether he can throw a condom in a jar of pickles. I couldn't care less. What I'm trying to say
that's good as well. Do you know what the way I thought is? This is what I thought. I said Harry Winks no, and then I thought to myself, I don't even know what Harry Winks is like, and I'm saying no just because I don't like his name without even looking into him. And I watched him a couple of games, and I thought I'm going to be fair because I do it with a lot of players. I just say no straight away. So then I looked into him, and that Real Madrid game, he was good. And I'm thinking, and then I started to think he's going to be that player that comes, and I say no, and he has a good season. Now, I wouldn't sign him for 20 million. No, I would not. I would never do that. But I would take him on loan where it's in our hands where we choose we want to buy him because we need a centre midfielder. We need numbers in that centre midfield position. If we take him on loan and see what he's like, give him a chance, he could be like a Gareth Barry because a lot of people said no about Gareth Barry. I did as well. A lot of people said no about
Barry. He was a champion at Man City. He was one of the top players in his position across the league for year after year. Harry Winks is a Spurs reject. He's on $3 million a year.
What about Gona Guy then? What about Gona Guy from Villa? Gona Guy?
Completely different. He proven.
Did you think he would be as good as he was?
I didn't really watch any Aston Villa games, to be fair.
But
it was very quick.
Winks, so
it didn't take an awful long. It didn't take an awful lot of time to see that Idrissa Gana Guy was one of the best players in his position. Harry Winks isn't. If he was, Spurs wouldn't be getting rid of him in the Champions League where they need a big squad. He wants to leave because he's not getting a game, because he's very limited, and they need dynamic players at Spurs who are going to do a few more things and hit the ball, short passes sideways. I saw him at Goodison Park in the game. I think we won 5-4, and I thought he was atrocious in that match.
He was bad in that game, yeah.
I know you're trying to think positive, but you need to really think about this signing. And I think what's happened is he's been offered around to clubs. We've said we would be interested on loan, and Spurs have said 20 million. I don't see it happening, this deal, to be honest with you.
The thing is, I'm not settling for shit because I don't want that. I want Everton to change. I'm bored of this. It wears you down, getting behind players that ain't good enough. I'm not settling for crap, but I do think that on a loan, I would like to see if there's a player in him. There's no risk. If you loan him and you give him a chance, if he's good, you keep him. If he's not, you move him on. That's clever business that Everton should start doing because there's no risk at all. Even you know that, Ryan. There's no risk in that.
He's like a defensive midfielder who's not good at defending.
But there is
we probably would say the same about Dele Alli, though. We'd say Dele Alli wasn't good enough for Tottenham and they needed to move him on. But
when you say there's no risk, there is a risk.
Yeah.
Because it'll be on quite high wages. There'll probably a loan fee. And also it takes up one of your loan slots. So it is a risk. Don't say it's not. When you get a loan, it's still a risk.
Well, if you move a lot of wages off the books, it'll be worth. It's not as bad. He's going to be better than Tom Davies for me.
We can't celebrate getting players off the books and then bringing in other people's crap because we've been trying to get rid of players. I think we need to get rid of Yerry Mina, Keane, Holgate, Jared Branthwaite on loan, Gomez, Gabamin, and Alan from that midfield. We need probably a full spine of a team. And Harry Winks for me is not a solution, and I don't think he's better than anything we've got. You might disagree.
Well, is he not worth taking? Like for this season, why we can't spend that much, and then just use him, play him loads because he will get used because players do get used with us. Use him as much as you can, and then just move him on, send him back like we did Van der Beek, and then when we've got 20, 30 million to buy this centre midfielder that you're talking about that would be the right one, then buy him.
The thing is, we must have some money because you don't have to necessarily pay. A lot of the teams abroad, their financial climate is not the same as the English football. And there must be players out there who would improve us, who we could sign on deals where you're paying over the lifetime of the contract. So like a 20, 30 million pound player where you're not paying a full 20, 30 million in one go.
Yeah,
we must be able to
that's
facilitate
standard,
these deals.
But right, that's a standard contract at the moment. Now that's the standard way that you do things. So when you finance you usually the deal now is financed over the span of the first contract, isn't it?
You can't move alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's another point. Yeah.
Brian say never rated Tom Davies at all. Can't get in the Spurs team. He's valid at 20 million. Yeah.
A lot of people don't want Winks. So like I said, I didn't want him either, but
I wouldn't have him on a free. I wouldn't have him on a free. I wouldn't have him. I don't want to see players like that for Everton anymore. I have witnessed the season from hell where I was ready to jump in the Mersey until we stayed up against Palace and Liverpool obviously crumbled the two trophies. I don't want to be put in a position where I know I am telling you right now, if we sign players like Harry Winks, we are going to really struggle. I've accepted the James Tarkowski transfer. I think you've convinced me on that, but I think
there's nothing wrong with it. When you say accepted, there's nothing wrong with that.
He's not going to certainly come over here and start playing a high line, playing out the back. It's more the same low block, hoof ball. That's what he is. He's good in a low block. He's very reliable, very dependable, stays injury free.
He's just coming in for Mina, though. This is what I don't get. How are we getting shut of Mina?
There's still loads. There's still
just been unlucky.
This is all going to kick off on the first. Yeah. This channel's going to get crazy on the first because the kit comes out and there's going to be loads and loads of.
Is that the release date? Is it?
What's that?
Is that the release date for the kit? Is it? Oh,
I'm just sure that's the date that they're allowed to release it because that's the day that Kazoo ends. The deal ends. They can't release it until the Kazoo deal actually ends.
What are you hoping the kit will be like? I'd like to see a white collar or something a bit different, maybe.
I've seen a normal fucking blue kit. I don't like this fancy design shite. Just fucking plain royal blue.
You're going to always get different colours. You're going to always get different colours. Paul Ken, you want a bright pink kit. I know it.
I'd like to see it in a gold kit. Black and gold.
Gold's good.
I like again, what about plain black? Plain black away shirt, and love that. We had
black last time, didn't we? Black and bit of stripe.
Black and gold and a blue home. Or go vintage and have like half white at the top. I don't know. I'm just sick of the same kits as shite. The Hummel one last season, the red and black one I hated, and the
that was disgusting. That wasn't even red. That was fucking pink.
And I know you bought that white one, Mavsy, but I thought it was minging. Yeah. It had like the chevrons going down it. I thought it was awful.
The fair kit I quite like. Like I've got the fair kit. I do like that.
The retro kit.
Do you know what though? I haven't even got a clue what I think it's going to be like. Normally I've got an idea, but I actually don't know.
No, hopefully it will be. To be fair though, the state logo is quite nice. I like the way it's big writing and stuff like that. I do like it. So hopefully we'll get a good.
You don't like it?
No, I do. I've seen it on the Watford kit. I think it looks good. State kind of bad.
Some people was moaning saying the state logo is too big.
Oh God,
it's huge.
Fucking hell. You know what? I think everyone just needs to get away from this whole fascination of we're a family club and, you know, we shouldn't be having a gambling, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Unfortunately, at this present moment in time, we are financially in the shit because of what's happened in Ukraine. We lost 20 million through through obviously USM not being able to sponsor us anymore. So they had to get the best deal possible.
Mashui's going to sell the club, isn't he? Let's be honest, because his company, all of these companies that him and Usmanov have got investments in are all in Russia. I mean, he could really go into the shit.
You know what? I hope Kenyon does take over. Peter Kenyon does take over because you know what? He's a footballing man and he knows how to run a football club, and that's leaving it to the footballing people. You know what I mean? Kenyon's a club. Look, he did a massive, great job at United. So, I think he did. Don't you?
I don't know.
I think he
Can't
did
remember.
great. You know, so I think I'll be happy with a Kenyon takeover, and I hope it goes through, and I hope it goes through soon because I don't want this dragging on. I think he's
going to sell it because I think all the self-sponsorship things like with the USM have gone out the window because of what's happened basically with the war. I don't think it's going to get any better. I think it'll get worse before it gets better as well, unfortunately.
Well, they're starting to sponsor teams again, aren't they? So,
how much do you think, different subject, how much do you think there's loads of talks that Gomez got interest on him? How much do you think he'll go for?
20 million.
Really? I think he's the type of player we'd get rid of for free if we could.
No, he's not free.
He's earning £130,000 a week he contributes nothing.
He's worth about 10 million. He is worth about 10 million.
You know, he's worth something. At the end of the day, you know, every player at the moment is worth something.
If his contract was expiring tomorrow, we wouldn't be renewing it. And there's at least 5 or 6 in that same category. Still, we've been saying for year after year after year, we're no longer the Schneidlin and the Anias and the Mirallas. We've got rid of all them. We did the same thing with the Rooney and the Claessens and all of them. We've been through all these cycles year after year where we're getting rid of the Deadwood. It never seems to end because we keep buying shite. And I think Andre Gomez is a player that you'll see leaving a similar sort of deal to Dele Alli, where it will be a club that takes a punt on him. They'll pay for him and they'll basically get him very cheap for maybe 4 or 5 million, and they'll have to pay the rest based on appearances and statistics. I think absolutely his time is gone. And I think Alan as well. Gabama desperately got rid of him. There's a lot of work to be done. And the problem is you can't sell players that no one really wants. I think deep down, these are really difficult to get rid of because they've not performed well and they are on high wages. And the age for some of them is not on their side. We've got 30 people watching live. Thanks for joining. If you've not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I've got Mabsy and Dan here with us. We've been talking about Richarlison, Gordon. So if you've only just joined in, make sure you rewatch. This video will automatically go onto YouTube very soon as a rewatchable video, or simply wind it back if you want. We've also touched on some of the other players we've been linked with. Is there anything you two want to talk about while we're here today for this show?
No, I think there's a lot's going to be happening now. You know, I think do we return to pre-season today? Do Everton return, or is it next week?
It's next week, isn't it?
I know United will return today, so I don't know. But as I say, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot happening this summer. I think, you know, we're getting back into it. The season starts early, and the fixtures the fixtures we've got really coming thick and fast this season. Until we get to the 10th,
for a nice
Boxing
break.
Day. Huh?
I was hoping for a nice break.
Let's have a quick fast forward with you, Ryan. Let's go through this quick. Go with what do you think will happen? Not what do you want will happen. What do you actually think will happen? Yeah. So Mina, stay or gone?
Stay.
You think he's going to stay?
I don't think anyone's going to sign him.
Right. Keane, West Ham interest.
And I think a lot of this, I think he'll end up staying. Both of them will end up staying.
Keane as well.
You've got to find people willing to pay delusional sums for these players who've not performed well or have had injury problems, who are approaching ends of their contract, who are aging.
Forget about what you know
I
about
don't
them.
see it. I would like them to go. I'm sick of watching them. Not so much Yerry Mina. It's frustrating now. The reason I want rid of Mina is because I'm pissed off of seeing him come in for 2 matches and miss 3 months. I'm irritated by it. I don't want such an emotional roller coaster.
Someone will buy Mina.
I don't want such an emotional roller coaster.
I'm glad you're not selling our players, Ryan.
Yeah, we didn't get anything.
You wouldn't be advertising them well. You wouldn't be advertising them well, would you?
Yeah, just whatever.
Mina is a good player. He just doesn't stay fit. Mina will go to AC Milan or someone like that abroad. Mina will get into... 100%. We'll get 10 million for Mina. So Mina's going to be gone.
You think he's going to be sold? Okay.
What do you think about Keane? Like Keane, I'm not sure.
Not Moise Keane or...
No, not Moise Keane. He's already gone.
No, he's still
Michael
there.
Keane.
He's still technically got a year left.
He has to be gone, though. We can't have him back.
No, hopefully not.
He's not our problem anymore.
No, he's not our problem. He is gone. So
I can't
let's move
stand any of them.
Let's move on to another one that you've been talking about. Right, don't think what you want. Think what will actually happen. Harry Winks. Is it going to happen or isn't it?
Yeah, of course it's going to happen.
He's going to come in on loan.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. We are going to get him. So no matter how much you say don't get him, you know and I know he's coming into. Harry Winks is coming.
I think Richarlison will go to Chelsea as well with Conor Gallagher on a season-long loan as well.
See, I messaged Richarlison on Twitter, as you know, saying don't leave, but I
know where he lives. I know where he lives. I can give you his address if you want.
Crosby.
I've got his exact address. I know the house. Crosby. I know the number of the house. If you message me, I'll give you his address. You can put.
I've even been having.
Do you want to write to him?
Richarlison.
Do you want to write to him?
Do you know what? I'm just going to see what happens. I've said my piece to Richarlison now. I've said
he's not going to notice that. But if you post something to him, to his house,
do you really know his address?
Of course, yeah. I know where Seamus Coleman lives as well. I know the exact door.
Well, we know Seamus.
Pen pals. I might be pen pals with both of them. Do you know what though? With Richarlison, I love Richarlison to pieces. My daughter loves him, but if he leaves and he goes to Tottenham, I will end up hating him. And I've heard some people say on Twitter, "Oh, I'll still love him when he leaves. I wish him the best." If Tottenham is if Richarlison is playing against us for Tottenham and he's scoring against us, and you support Everton, you will end up not liking him. That's the way it will be. Do you agree?
I don't like anyone who plays for us or even doesn't play for us.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if he even said we could get Conor Gallagher. You know what? You know what it is? Last season really broke me because I was coming on the channel. I was doing 2 videos a week, reactions, previews, other stuff. It was very draining. I know people enjoyed listening to it.
We found it
misery. No.
Do you know who you remind me of, Ryan, with Everton?
He's gone.
Do you know who you remind me of with Everton, Ryan?
Go on.
The Grinch.
Can I just finish what I was going to say? I started the channel last March.
You're like the Grinch with Christmas with Everton. Next season we'll cheer you back up. We're going to have a good season.
You might see me in a bit. I'm actually in a bit of an okay mood right now. But you know what it is? I'm just saying. I feel very deflated last season because of all the stuff going on. I had to come on and face it, and it was very draining. And I knew exactly what was wrong, and I couldn't believe how bad we were. I couldn't believe it. But I was relishing the end of the season to get a little bit of a break. Obviously, you know the story about I went on the cruise and the Champions League final was on the cruise ship, and I was watching it 12 minutes ahead from all the Liverpool fans, so I knew the result, and they were all suffering. You know, little moments like that, and then I'm really relaxed after they didn't win it and we stayed up. And then I've been sucked back in, all the transfer news, all the rumours that I don't really like. I don't really like the incomings. I really don't like the outgoings. I liked the players we released, by the way. I'm really pleased we got rid of them. But, you know, it's sucking me back in. It's draining me back again, because if he's going, I'd just rather we sold him and move on. It's the fact it's probably going to get dragged out. He'll probably end up going to Chelsea. It'll be 65 million or something like that to Chelsea. It'll be very late in the window. it's just very, very annoying. I just want a nice break where we sign some decent players and we build for the future to look forward to the season. But at the moment, Dan, I really can't see anything changing. I really see a repeat of last season again.
What do you, like you've just said, I'm with you though. I want Richarlison to stay because I love him. But if he is going to go,
you're in love with him, more like.
It needs to just happen quick, because basically, if he does go and he goes for the right amount, we can do well with that money, because there's a lot of good players on the market. So, what do you think of that Watford striker?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Dennis Waterman.
Yeah. What do you think of him? You think he's good?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
That's why when Mark put the thing in the comments, have you seen the rumor about Dennis from Watford? Yeah, I've seen it.
He's good on FIFA.
I don't know anything about him. I know he scored at Goodison and made us look pathetic. Apart from that, I didn't really watch many Watford games. I'm told he was one of the better players for Watford. But look, Watford have been relegated. They need to get rid of players. I don't want to be spending 20 million quid on Dennis. I'd rather...
Dennis
5 million. The market isn't there. If you're in a position where he's got to be sold, he's not going to go to a top club. And, Everton are, we haven't got the money to be blowing.
To be fair,
I'd offer him a packet of crisps.
I really do want who you said, Gallagher. Gallagher and Ericsson are two massive.
Yeah. If we get them two, I will be positive. I'll come on and smile a bit more. Now, I really do think that if we could keep hold of the players we've got now and bring in Christian Eriksen and Conor Gallagher into that midfield, play 4-3-3, narrow 4-3-3, so Gordon and he can stay out wide or he can come in. Richarlison off the left, up front with Calvert-Lewin. If we can get another left back in as well, hopefully, if Nkunku goes, maybe someone a little bit more, like a Zinchenko, I think would be absolutely massive for us. If we could get in, if we could sign Conor Gallagher, Zinchenko and Ericsson on a free, I think we could compete for Europe again. That
does change us massively. If you change that centre midfield, and obviously
because you've got Tarkowski as well. Yeah. I could see us finishing in the top 8. I could see us competing for Europe, because I think you solve the problem with taking set pieces. I think you've got more leaders in there. You've got aggressive players. You've got experience. You've got players with a desire. I think we could really, we do well. I think 35 million for Gallagher, free transfer for Christian Eriksen, Tarkowski on a free, and then I mentioned Zinchenko, we can get him for 15 million. I think it would make a massive difference. I think we wouldn't be in the scrap. Yeah. I don't think we'd be in the scrap.
I think that's why you're a bit like gnome of the Winks thing, because you in your head can see what it takes to turn us around, and it really would turn us around, and it's not much, because you've just said Gallagher, Ericsson, and maybe one or two more players could massively change Everton. So
I think you need I think you need a defensive midfielder. I think you need a machine in that midfield who runs and runs and runs. So, someone with Doucouré's athleticism, but with more technique and more defensive awareness. Dan, pleasure to have you on.
Yeah,
we'll catch up next week. You'd be excited with those signings, wouldn't you? I know in your heart of hearts you'd be made up with them. Yeah,
definitely. What you said is true. Like you say, we know who we need, and we just need to make sure we get those players. But we've just got to wait and see whether we get them.
Dan, if you do want to write to Richarlison, let me know and I'll get his details.
Yeah, I might just write a love letter to him.
Just say I really don't want you to go.
I might just write a love letter to him.
Baby, you're all that I want. When you lie here in my arms.
Well, I'm going to see. Did you before we shoot this off on Everton? Did you see I might be going to see Westlife in 3 weeks?
I saw on Twitter you were in an hour in the 400 quid. Why can't we do a little fundraiser on here for you?
I'm going to pay it.
Have you bought the ticket?
I've got the money, but 400 quid.
But it's a lot of money, mate.
£100 for each. £100 for each kid is expensive, isn't it?
I think it's too much. I think it's far too much. I think you could look on Viagogo or somewhere like that and get cheap tickets just before. But the problem you've got is 4 together. And are these actually coming out or are these resale?
Well, she's just seen that my partner's seen there was 4 tickets online, £100 each. And
resale.
She didn't tell me. She just said there's 4 tickets.
I imagine it's resale. I'm pretty sure those tickets are going to be like 30.
Have you seen Westlife live?
No.
Would you see Westlife live?
Probably. I saw Ronan Keating in the Philharmonic Hall in Liverpool last week.
They are the songs that you just sing along to. You just got to.
You know what it is, Dan? You know I'm a professional entertainer, don't you? Singer, sax player. I don't like listening to stuff that I have to do at work. So something like Westlife, I wouldn't necessarily sing. I do a little bit of Boyzone and stuff, but I'm more of a Rat Pack and soul and Motown music. But the Westlife, it would interest me because it's like I'm not going to really do that music. It's just something different. You know, it's good songs, but I just like anything that I'm not going to be performing really. But
I'm glad Westlife is bang on. We'll have to get me, you, Mabsy, and Jan to sing a Westlife song.
Which one?
The new Westlife.
Did it on me now?
Uptown Girl.
Cover, isn't it?
Uptown Girl. Is it a cover? Yeah.
When You're Looking Like That is the one I'm thinking about.
That is a good song. When You're Looking Like That.
Am I supposed to do now? When you're looking like that. Right, I'm getting too excited now.
I'm a dancer, not a singer.
That's not my real voice, by the way. In case you're thinking, what the fuck is that?
Was that your best singing?
No, that's my baby voice that I put on.
That is a good voice. One song then. Finish the channel. Sing a song. Finish it off.
No, I've got a bit of a... Well, what do you want me to do?
You can't.
You're waiting for me to sing.
One song.
You have to pick something.
You're the singer. Go on.
Now, you like Westlife, don't you?
Yeah, go on.
Smile, an everlasting smile. A smile would bring you near to me. That's all you're getting.
That was good. That was. You got it. You look like you're from Westlife.
It's Bee Gees, isn't it? Actually, but I think Westlife covered it. That was just off the top of my head.
If you want a ticket, if you want to come with us, let me know, mate.
My head's fucking banging. People are going to be unsubscribing listening to that.
Right, we'll finish this.
You give us a song now, Dan.
Before we go,
Dan, give us a song.
Anthony Gordon.
Dan, give us a song. Dan, give us a song. Give us a song. Give us a song.
That's the one, isn't it? Oh, Anthony Gordon.
You know, when you're looking like that.
How am I supposed to leave you now? I love it. I like I Believe I Can Fly. Do you not like that one?
I don't sit there listening to Westlife. I've got to be honest. I know a couple of their songs. I know the songs.
Well, I've been listening to them now. I know I'm going.
Yeah.
So
when I saw Ronan Keating in Liverpool the other night, he brought someone up out the crowd, and the woman said, "I don't even know any of your songs," and it was hilarious.
Who's the best person you've ever seen live?
Well, I've seen people like Bublé, George Benson, Frankie Valli, Jason Mraz. I've seen a lot of people, but I'm more classic singers. By the way, the back is going to die.
She was really good. Jess Glynn was.
I don't really go and view any modern singers. To be honest, I play Ibiza saxophone, so
that's because you are a singer.
I'm now into playing a lot of house music and stuff like that. But
do you know what I'm going to go and do now? I'm going to watch the new Elvis Presley movie.
Is that out?
Yeah. Well, I've got a thing on my internet thing where I can watch it for free at home. So
could you message me about that? Because I had something similar, and no, I never had anything similar that does no longer work. But I was wondering whether we could maybe have a small chat about that.
Yeah, well, I know all the stuff, don't I? So it comes out on where you can't watch it that good quality, and then you wait, and then it's top quality now. So I'm going to go watch the Elvis Presley film.
Is it your TV?
I'll send you the link, but don't tell anyone.
No, we're just fucking on YouTube where everyone can watch everything.
Yeah, but they don't know. They don't know the link. So there you go. They all want to watch it as well. Who ain't going to want to watch the Elvis Presley movie? Right.
It's in the cinema last Friday, apparently. That's from Mark.
I'm watching it at home. A little less conversation, a little more action.
Brian likes it. I think he might be of Clappy.
What's the best Elvis Presley song?
I do a few. I do.
You sing.
Can't Help Falling in Love with You. I had someone walking down the aisle to that. I was playing it on the sax for them. Their mum come up to me and said, "You made me cry with your emotional playing." Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
You made me
Suspicious
cry when you
mind.
were talking about Everton
He's
last
got
season.
loads of stuff.
You made me cry when you were talking about Everton last season.
Why?
It was just an emotional season, wasn't it? Ups and downs, mate. That was.
Had enough.
I didn't cry really.
I'm gonna have a look. I'm tempted. You know, I don't really like. I think this is gonna cut off. By the way, I'm not mad on these light evenings. I feel like I just wish it would kind of get darker, like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because the days drag on, don't they? And there's not.
I just want Everton back. I do now.
I thought about that, but then when I saw the news this morning about Richarlison and Gordon, and I just thought, nah.
Yeah, but I do think, and we'll just say this quickly because we are shooting it off. But
yeah, this is going to cut off. I'm on 1% on the MacBook
I could talk a lot, but you know what it's like when you're good friends. We ain't spoke for a while. But basically, I do think we was awful last season, but there is a lot better in some of those players. We didn't see the best of Dele Alli. Lampard didn't use Dele Alli, and I think Dele Alli will be good this season. Iwobi was better, and if he plays like that again this season, he'll be decent. Tarkowski could make Godfrey play better, and then our defence is better. Patterson, we're going to see him. He could be better. Mikalenko was getting better. So these people that say it's going to be a repeat of last season, it could be better. And if we sign the players that we've just said, Gallagher, Ericsson, it's going to be a good season. So let's just be positive, because at the end of the day, you've got to hope for better, because that's what we need. That's what
I think we need a couple of players, big players, to lift the group. Otherwise, I think we could be in the same sort of mess, even with
changes the camp, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it changes the feeling.
What I mean.
Yeah,
but I know you're really positive. Players. Dan, let's catch up next Monday. Let's reconvene next Monday. Is that okay? Does that work with you next Monday?
Whenever you want me, mate. Always ready.
Okay. Because I sit on here all night, but my partner's said she's got some food for me.
No, there's going to be some big news anyway coming.
I hope it's good. Listen, guys, I know there's loads of people watching. Sorry, we can't keep this going. We've been on for over an hour, so we'll see you soon. We'll probably be back on next Monday night.
Like and subscribe, everyone.
Like and subscribe. Thanks, Dan. Love you, man. Take care.